Hello and welcome to the History Makers Leadership Podcast. We are here to share leadership with you, to share the stories of those men and women who are changing history by accelerating the spread of the gospel. Today, I have a very special guest, Hudu Sefande. Hudu is from the Republic of Benin, and in honor of his African origin, we are both sporting African traditional shirts, which they gave to me graciously as a gift when I visited Benin.
Yeah.
So, Hudu, welcome
Thank you
to
so
History
much.
Makers.
Thank you so much.
Well, these episodes will help us to focus on the journey of leaders that compose our ILI family around the world.
Yeah.
We have done interviews with others, and we will keep doing that. Today, Hudu is here in the United States. We are face-to-face here at our studio, and I get to ask him a few questions and hear about his story again. Hudu, give us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? We all know that you came from Benin, but explain to us even where is Benin?
Yeah, thank you so much, Norival. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you guys and this place I like. So, I come from Benin. Like you said, Benin is in West Africa. It's close to Nigeria.
Okay.
Nigeria. So if you look at Nigeria and you see a country that look like a key, because God is going to use that key to open doors in this world. Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm married. God gave me a wonderful princess. She's from Brazil. Like you,
Yes,
exactly.
I know that.
His name is Sarah, and we have two wonderful kids.
Yes.
God bless us with kids.
Amen.
Yeah.
And that is going to be one of the stories that we're going to explore in a minute.
Okay.
Because that in and of itself is a story. But you did you grow up in a Christian family or in church or not?
Yeah, thank you. That's interesting. My dad was a Muslim.
Okay.
Yes, he was Muslim, and it's when I was a small boy. At a first part of my life, she wasn't living with us, so I was with my mom.
Okay.
And so my mom used to take us to church. Mm-hmm. We used to go to church. But of course, going to church is not mean that you are a Christian.
Right.
Yeah, that's the way I started. It's going to church.
Yeah. But at some point, I guess you had to choose.
Yeah.
You could go to Islam and become a Muslim. Or you could choose the faith of your mother.
Yeah.
Tell us how that happened.
Because for you to go for something, it have to. The thing have. Need to have something to attract you, right?
Yes,
that's definitely. So I was surrounded with Muslim. Either at school or in the place we were living, but I wasn't seeing something that can lead me to Islam. Nothing, but. In other side, I had opportunity to go to church to listen the word of God, and I was let's say 11 years old, around 11 years old, and I was in the church compound with someone. He was an elder, so. He just asked me, we were having a conversation, and he just asked me, look, Udu. By the way, he didn't use Udu because in that time, they call me with a name people in our, local language, Kobalo.
Kobalo.
Yes, Kobalo.
Okay.
Ça veut dire, I say ça veut dire, I'm speaking French now. Let me come back to English. So, it means means someone with high position, with in the kingdom, people who are well respected,
Okay.
and that's it means in our side, in our language, Kobalo. So he said, Kobalo, if you die today, where are you going?
Ooh.
Are you going to heaven or what? Where will be your place? That's all. And the conversation ended there because I don't have the answer.
Okay.
But this question, continue hitting me inside, hitting me till the next Sunday. And in that time, it was a small church, and at evening, they gather children to teach them the word of God, and it's a children's service.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist anymore. It was a call inside. You need to give to give your life to Jesus. Then at the end of the service, I raised my hand and said, look, today I want to give my life to Jesus. That's how I came to Jesus.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, I remember hearing a quote by somebody saying that if a person could only consider for a moment the eternal destiny of their soul,
Yeah.
they would be open
Yes.
to the gospel, and it seems like that's what happened to you.
Yeah, it is true. It is true because look, in that time with poverty, and you see people dying also around you, and of course, when you hear about eternity is not something that you can imagine. You just think about something without end.
Right.
And you are going to not just being in eternity, but in hell. Can you imagine?
Yes.
So the choice is a quick one, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, that's it.
And I'm glad you made that decision, just like me.
Yeah.
And here we are today, many, many years later, still serving God.
Yeah.
Of course, from accepting Christ as your Lord, as your Savior, and receiving salvation by grace, at some point there's a next step, which is for a lot of people it's a calling into ministry.
Yeah.
For you, it was a different calling.
Yeah.
Tell us what is your in your best sense the calling that God has upon your life?
That's so interesting. Before a calling, God need to build you.
Oh, yes.
Yes, to build you. And I have been through a lot of things. And let's say I remember maybe 2 years ago, God was telling me, look, your life, there's nothing that was easy in your life. And he told me, look, this is because I want to use you in a certain level. That's why all these things came into your life. Because, I gave my life to Jesus Christ. I was saved. And but I went through a lot of things, and till a moment in my life, I didn't even know what to say again. I prayed, I did everything, and I was tired. I was tired, and it looked like, okay, God, now I'm tired. Do whatever you want. That's it. And God was reminding me, saying, look, son, when it looked like you were alone, I never leave you alone. I was there with you. Even if you didn't know that I was there, I was there. Yeah.
And Hudu, that is, when you talk about having a difficult time, you're having a difficult time in rural Benin, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know where Benin ranks in terms of the poorer or the richer countries, but it's definitely not
No,
a rich country.
Yeah, of course.
And you don't come from a wealthy family, so
definitely
you've had plenty of struggles. God,
yeah, definitely, yeah. Like it was hard, to be honest. It was hard till a certain moment in my life. Like you can have opportunity to, to eat one time a day.
Okay.
Yes, which is at night. And, if they share food and the one that you can have, if you want to eat it immediately, you can eat it. Or if you want to cut it a little bit and keep something so that the next day you can have it, because you're going to have a food the next night again. I said, so it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't easy at all. And, like I said, at the first time of my life, I was living with my mom, and it was a rural part of, side of the city, and there's no lights, so we have a small, it was one, so our mom at night uses to cook food, and then after we can share it to study. And there was one bedroom and one living room for everybody. So we share it. We were sharing it together. But yes.
But it seems like you talked about studying.
Yeah.
It seems like that's one thing that you never gave up, was developing yourself. I know.
Yeah, of course. And it was hard. Like I told my children, look, I don't remember in my life where or when they bought a book to say, Udu, this is your own alone.
Oh, wow. So
I don't remember that. Okay, so even in secondary school, I needed to develop some technique to have access to books. And the way I was doing is that when we start, I will make my classmates to know that this guy has something inside his head. So then they will bring the book and say, can you explain to, yes, can you? So it's let you have access to books, okay? Of course, they won't come with, you have exercise book and you have the answers, all these things.
right.
So you better make sure that you give them the good answer, because they are going to check, to cross-check. You see? So, and all these things, by the way, help you to develop. You need to think a lot. You develop yourself.
Right.
That's
and apparently you are at this time already a problem solver. You solve problems for people.
Yeah.
You help people. And that's so interesting, because actually you are a business consultant, right?
Yes. And even now in my calling, when God was talking to me, he told me, you know that you are a problem solver, right? Yes, I hear that from God. You know that.
So when did that happen? When did you make that shift of understanding that God was calling you to something else? He was not calling you to be a pastor or anything like that.
No. At least to be a pastor, pastoring a church. No. Of course. But he said you are a problem solver. Okay, and like when I met the first part when I was at university, I just finished university. I was since I can hear this thing inside me, the voice telling me you are a leader. You are a leader. But to be honest, I didn't know what it means to be a leader. Well, to be a leader means to be let's see, a CEO, a chair, something like, a great man and something like that.
Right.
But I didn't have that, perspective of being a leader, which means have a vision. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yes, until I met Eli.
Okay.
Yes.
So it was during our training that God clarified your vision for you.
Yes. I say, wow, this is what I want. That's why since I went through that training till today, I keep working with Eli.
Right.
Yes.
Because you want to help other leaders.
Yes, I want to
identify.
Yes.
Now we do need to step back because I promised our listeners and our those watching that we were going to talk about how in the world a man from Benin marries a woman from Brazil.
Wow. This is a whole story.
I know this is a long story. It could be an episode in and of itself,
yes,
right?
We are not going to. In my life, I just choose that I don't want to go with a girl if it's not to marry her. That was my decision in my heart.
Okay, how old?
No, let's say when I was in secondary school, because for me, before that, it doesn't matter things of girl. No, it doesn't matter.
That's a good godly decision.
Yeah. So I have that decision, that commitment in my heart that if I talk to a girl, is only to marry her.
Okay.
That's all. So then the first lady I was able to talk to, a girl, so she said no. And, I spent 3 years. She said no. And before I talked to her, I talked to God. Because I developed intimacy with God, and then God said no, don't go, and I was a stubborn.
Okay,
yes, I can tell you. I said no, Father, this is what I want.
Okay.
So and in that time, I was so stupid to think that if you keep asking what God said no, He will allow you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I spent 3 years, okay, keep pushing God and say, I want it. At the end of the 3 years, God said, okay, go ahead. And I was happy. I thought it is His will.
You thought God had given in to you,
yes. Huh? So I went, I met the girl, and she accepts. And we come and see a Christian. So I pray with her, and we started a relationship. But is an history. I can tell you, it was hard. Too hard. So it was like something like 2 years if it is too long, and I have to step back and come to God's presence. I say, Father, because it was in my life like a wall before me. I can't move again. And I come back, and I rent a place, a room for prayer and fasting.
Okay.
Yes. And I went there that day. I was praying, fasting, and I say, Father, what is going on? What to do? What do you want me to do exactly? In relationship with what I'm saying, my relationship with the girl, the only things he answered me is, I told you not to go. That's all. So I stopped that prayer and fast, because there's no need to pray and fast. The only thing that remains is to obey.
Right.
That's it. So I called the girl and said, look, it's not about you, it's about me. I can't move again. She said, no, let's fix it. I said, no. I can't move again. That's all. Full stop. Then I spent time praying, years praying, praying to have another opportunity, someone else. Till a moment I told God, look, I'm not asking two. I say one, just give me one. And then come one day. I was in, in that time, we don't have internet at home or these things, but there's a cafe.
Internet cafes.
Internet
I remember.
cafe.
I remember those.
Internet cafe. So I went there. I was, went to some site, but it was boring. And I asked someone, okay, do you know a Christian website? He said, yes, Nicodem.net. And then I went to Nicodem.net. You need to put your profile, what do you want, who do you want to meet, all these things. Then there's a big chat, and I used to go there and we discuss about the word of God, all these things. And one day,
with many people, it's it was like a public chat.
Yes, public chat, and you can have a private chat at the same time.
Right.
Like if you want to talk to someone, you can have private chat.
Yes, that's I remember those things.
How that's how it was working. And then I was there one day, one night, and I saw Brazilian flag, in the church. And I say, okay, I went to check the profile. Who is this guy? And I said, it's a girl. Okay. And I saw something. He put, I want to talk to God, men of God. That's the way she put it. And I say, what? You want to talk to men of God? What about us? Then I just chat in private. Look, I saw your profile. What do you mean by that? You don't want to talk to us. You want to talk to men of God. What about us? You gotta explain this thing to me. That's how
you started?
Yes, that's how it starts. And she said, no, I mean, people that love God and all this. I say, okay, it's good. Then, okay, so I just put her in my, I have a list of people I used to send message to them. Sometimes it happened to me in different positions. You may be in the bathroom, and then God will start talking to you, and you need to run to take note.
Okay.
Yes, because if you don't take note, it will go. And there's no way you can find it again. So I used to do that, and I will make sure that once I got the message, I will share it with my contacts. And so I built a contact, some USA, some Europe, Africa, different countries. So I put her in.
So there was the Brazil flag. There.
Yes. So then I start sending message to her. That was 2028.
2018.
Yes, 18.
Oh, 2018 or 2008?
No, 2008.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah, many years ago. Yes.
2008.
We don't even remember those days anymore.
2008. And then I didn't know that all this message I'm sending, the message were solving problem in Brazil. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then, like I used to do on, the 1st January 2009, I prepare a welcome message to my group, people I used to send message. I mean, it's based on what God put in my heart, and I sent to all of them.
To everyone.
To everyone, even her.
Yes.
Including her. And then she responded, my dear, it's my dear sister. So he forget that I'm
a man.
My dear sister. Yes, God used you. It's all 2008. And then at the beginning of this new year, he starts using you to bless me again. And then I said, look, hold on. I'm not a girl. I'm a man.
So she thought you were a girl.
Yes. And later she explained to me, how can a man write like, it's so beautiful what you used to write. So how can a man write this thing? That's how we start chatting. Yes,
and-
that's all.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I know that the whole story about
Yeah.
you going to visit her in Brazil, it's an entire story. But I want to point out something,
Yeah.
Hudu, that I have heard you say a number of times.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that it deserves a little bit of conversation.
Okay.
You talked about God speaking to you.
Yeah.
You talk about God giving you messages in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It happens to me as well. But I took your lesson. Go and write down.
Yeah.
So God speaks these words to you and you go write. Tell us a little bit about how is this, because you are one of the people I know that I really trust. When you say, there's something about Hudu that when you say, I heard from God, I believe it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say, I heard from God, but it was in their mind.
Yeah.
Tell me, where does this come from in you? And how is it that you have, that God speaks to you and these things? Or maybe you could give us even some examples.
Yeah. No, the things with God speaking to you, what did the Bible say? God keeps speaking every time. The problem is people don't listen.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
So well, hang in there, because that deserves being repeated.
Yeah.
God is speaking.
Yes.
He
In
never
different
stopped
manner.
speaking. He's still speaking.
He keeps speaking.
We're the problem
We're the problem.
because we're not paying attention.
Yes, that's it. And the Bible said it clearly. That's it. That's it. And even me,
Yeah,
I wasn't listening.
right. Well, that resulted in 3 years of
Yeah,
a relationship
yeah,
that
that's
ended
it.
up being wasted, right?
That's it. You see, that's it. And, okay, like, no, River, let me say something. Look at you and Christina, your wife. Okay? Let's say that Christina shows up here, okay, facing you. Even saying nothing, you can communicate with her. Right? Yes or no?
That's true, yes.
Good. This thing come from where?
From intimacy.
That's all.
Yes.
That's all. Intimacy. Intimacy. Remember, Jesus said something. My sheep will hear what? My voice.
Yes.
And they will recognize my voice. That's it.
That's absolutely,
And
yes.
how is it that a sheep recognize the voice of the shepherd? Because the sheep spend time
Yes.
with the shepherd.
Every day.
Every day.
And they're listening to
They're
that voice.
listening. So this is not a big deal. It's not a big deal. God keeps speaking. And he speaks in different ways, different manners. Okay? You can, like, you can hear the voice like I'm talking to you. I can tell you with my, physical ears, but you hear it clearly.
Yes.
Yeah, the first time I heard this thing, I was in a challenge. Yes, I helped one of my sister to have money, to borrow money. It was some million.
Okay.
Yes, and unfortunately, it was scammers that deal with her, and I have to return that money back, and I don't have it. How to do? I will go to to office. I couldn't walk. I will just keep praying, Father, I know you will never let me down. Never. You will find the solution. I know and I trust you. So I just spend time to pray. the last, I mean, they give me only some days, 3 to 4 days. You need to solve this. If not, you are in trouble. Then the last day, before the last day, which was Thursday, okay, I went to that sister house because on Friday, we need to solve it. We need to have money, cash.
Mm-hmm.
All the millions, we need to have it. So then I slept there, but I wasn't married, of course. So I slept there. On morning, when I wake up, Morival, I was praying, Father, what to do? And I heard that voice. Wow, clear. He said, son, you know what your sister and you used to do when you face challenges. And I say, yes. I just answer, yes, I got it. I know. Then I just stopped that prayer. I went out and went to my sister's room. The door was locked. She was praying, and I knocked and she said, stop that prayer. Come out. She come out, so we went to another room to pray together. She said, this is what God, and I knew what to do because in the past, facing challenges, we knew when we stay together in a car, where there's 2 or 3 in my name.
Yes.
Everything you pray for, you will have it. If you open it, it will be open. So we went in that room, we start praying, one accord, calling for solution. Now we need it, Father. And then the phone started ringing. And we didn't bother, we just keep praying till the moment we stop. When we stop, my sister picked the phone and the voice over there starts, your brother Udu is there, but how can I be there? Cotonou, right? But she was living in at Calavi, is another city.
Yeah.
I supposed to be at Cotonou walking.
Yeah.
The person say, Udu is there. She respond, yes. And they tell him to come to this office to receive this number of million.
Oh, wow.
That's all. Yes, and I can keep talking this type of, the way God keeps solving problems.
So problem solver, Hudu Safande. Where does that come from? Again, it comes from intimacy with God, right?
It comes from intimacy, and it comes from, look, who is Jesus Christ for us? Oh, Jesus Christ. Isn't it the solution?
Yeah.
He's the solution.
Right.
Yes.
So you take all of this and then you apply it to the business world.
Yeah.
How does that kind of experience transfer to being an entrepreneur? You are now, you are starting up a company.
Yes,
in solar energy, right?
Yeah.
So how does that translate? How does that faith translate into business, into entrepreneurship?
Well, when I went to Abuja, one of the problem was that they used to cut power.
Power cuts.
Yes, power cut. And I was with my family and I need to solve the problem. And when we calculate using gas well, gen, it was too much.
Right.
So, and you can't run gen more than 6 hours.
Right.
Yes, you need to stop, and there's a lot of maintenance, all these things.
Yeah, well, this is one thing that a lot of people are not used to. I've been to Africa a number of times, and every hotel, every retreat centers, people's homes, They need to
So
have a gas generator
then,
or a diesel generator,
yeah.
right?
So
That's what you're
then
talking about.
I was thinking how to solve the problem, and one of my neighbor told me, "Look, there's an opportunity like that." So he connected me to an engineer. Okay, he who know how to, install solar system, and by the way, this guy is so gifted. Yeah, he can build inverters.
Okay,
Yes,
yes.
yes. So he came to my place. I explained what I need to him, and I bought, solar panels, and the guys he built the inverter, the inverter, and then when I solve my problem, I start thinking, what about others?
Oh, yeah. I can
Yes,
solve somebody else's problem.
yes. So now, and the guy also, he started like a business, but he was struggling, and we start thinking together. How can we come together, join our hands? Okay,
Yeah.
and so I shared the my vision of this thing with him, and he have the vision too, and then we start seeing how we can solve the problem. So we order some components from China, and we build a strong one, and I'm using it at all.
So you're the guinea pig. You're the prototype.
That's all. That's it. So I'm using it now, and we are working on projects like right now, okay, to solve problem. And look, I think we are talking like business men, and as Christian, we need to solve problem. And basically, a businessman is a problem solver.
Okay.
And we as Christian, for those who can sense the call inside business, need to come to serve God by running business,
Wow.
building business. Yeah.
That is so exciting. In fact, we are going to have another conversation that will be focused on how you mix your faith, how can you apply your faith to running a business, to entrepreneurship, some of the challenges, particularly in Africa. So check out an upcoming episode when Hudu and I will be talking about that. For today, this is it. I hope it inspired you. I hope it helped to you, because it helped me to see how God can use a man or a woman who is completely devoted, completely committed to an intimate relationship with God. Thank you for being with us. If this episode was a blessing to you, please consider liking, giving us a rating on the platform that you hear podcasts, or on YouTube, and recommending this to others. We want to reach as many leaders as possible to bring them what it means to lead by the 8 core values of the leaders who are changing history.